Mason, do you experience digital eye strain from too much blue light exposure from digital screens?
Yes.
Well, Baxter Blue glasses are here for you. Let me tell you about Baxter Blue glasses. They are not your average frames. These blue light lenses filter out 80% of the highest energy blue light, eliminating 99% of glare.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes. The past year we have all been glued to our devices more than ever because of the little thing called the pandemic. I am constantly working with screens, whether it be writing and researching for the show or editing video and pictures, and it would always leave my eyes so tired and strained.
My eyes are always tired from watching a bunch of videos while you do all the work for the podcast.
Yes. So it's equal. It's equal the strain that our eyes are receiving, I think. Baxter Blue is also force for good and provides a pair of reading glasses for someone in need for every pair sold, which is awesome. This is eyewear built for our digital age, and Baxter Blue is giving our listeners 10% off your next purchase of blue light, sleep, or kids glasses. All you have to do is click the link in our show notes for your exclusive discount. This is the sign you've been waiting for to invest in blue light glasses. We know you will love your Baxters, and we know that you will feel the difference. Honestly, people, save your eyes and get some Baxter Blue glasses.
I mean, glasses, they just make you look cooler and smarter.
Yes, and we are not biased at all. We are two guys that are going to get on with the podcast.
Yeah.
We both wear glasses, but don't let that influence your decision. But if you want to be cool like us, you should do it.
It's true.
Captain's Log, the podcast devoted to discussions and insights into the supernatural, occult, and all-around strange happenings of our world.
I think
Our goal?
there's someone in the house with us.
To entertain and disturb, perhaps like no one has before.
I warn you, this could scare you, as the sound bothers me to listen to. It has always haunted me. What you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed. Did you hear that?
Stardate 05/18/2021. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Captain's Log. This is your captain speaking, Jose Valle Jr., joined virtually by my trusted co-host and first officer, Mason Schrader. Mason, how are you today? What's new in life? What's new, Scooby-Doo, but change out Scooby-Doo for Mason?
I'm not doing anything.
Nice.
I don't know. What's new with you?
I have been playing this. Look, so the thing about me is I don't play video games that much because usually when I do, they take all my time because I just want to continuously play. And I try not to play like sandbox games a lot because then I'm like, well, I have to be here 24/7 to take care of this. And I downloaded. This is not an ad.
I was going to say, this sounds like an ad.
This is not an ad. Probably everybody should stay away from this game because it is ruining my life. But I downloaded this sandbox game.
Raid Shadow. I don't know if you know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I downloaded a sandbox game, and all I've been doing is just playing it. And I'm like,
what game?
It's called World Box, and
I like those types of games.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. But yesterday I bought the premium version, and then today all day at work I was like, oh no.
Oh, is this on your phone?
This is on my phone. Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was like a console thing.
No, no. I think they're going to, again, this is not an ad, but I think they're planning on bringing it to Steam. And if they ever do, I'm going to definitely try to get that on my PlayStation or something because it's pretty fun.
That sounds like so much fun, Jose. I'm going to download that right now.
So, today we are continuing our Unsolved US series with part 7 of our Sinister Stories of the Southeast portion. We will be looking at the two states of Arkansas and Louisiana. If you are new to our Unsolved US series, you can find the first part of this portion in episode 33, where we explain how the series works. After this episode, we will be taking a long hiatus from our Unsolved US series and doing more single topic-centered episodes. For instance, our next episode will feature a special guest and a discussion that is a bit out of this world. It's Joe Rogan, everybody. We squashed the beef. He's here. We're going to talk about aliens because he's in Aliens now. Did you see that? Did you see that? He redecorated his studio and it's an alien in the background. And now aliens are cool because of because of Joe Rogan, which actually sucks because I had an idea for a logo that involved a UFO, and I'm like, if we do it now, everybody will just be like, you're copying Joe Rogan.
Well, to be fair, isn't every podcast copying Joe
Well,
Rogan?
that's the thing
He
is I only
invented
started this
podcasts.
podcast because I wanted to be Joe Rogan.
Well,
so.
he's the founding father of podcasts.
Yeah, so, but...
They call him Joe
Washington
Rogan.
Rogan Washington. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on.
But with that out of the way, Mason, shall we hit the road?
Yeah, I got the mystery hog. I just got its oil changed. I checked its tire pressures.
Very good.
Filled it up. You got to maintenance your
Your vehicles,
mystery
people.
hogs.
Yeah, mystery hogs. Then start it and let's ride.
You can tell how clean it is. It's ethanol.
All right. After making our crossroads deal with Beelzebub, we now head northwest to the land of opportunity, Arkansas. Quitman, Arkansas is a quaint little community in north-central Arkansas. It boasts a population of only 733 people. It also boasts the legend of a strange, large, dog-like man, the legend of Dog Boy. Superhero to Dog Man? Or sidekick, I mean.
Yeah, of course. It's a legend of a dog-like man, Dog Boy. Sure,
Dog Boy.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Let's move on, yeah.
The legend centers around the home on 65 Mulberry Street. The home has been a hub for a slew of paranormal occurrences. The legend of Dog Boy.
It's been a hub of a slew.
A hubba slew of a home of paranormal occurrences.
All right.
This is the most chaotic beginning of an episode we've had so far. That's what happens, folks, when you take like 2 weeks off and then you come back and you're like, how do I talk? So, the legend of Dog Boy begins in the early 1890s. The home was built by the Garrett family. It would later be occupied by Benjamin Jackson and his wife, who would have a child in 1898 named Joseph Jackson. Joseph would serve and perish in World War I at the young age of 21. He is one of the reported ghosts who haunts the house now. The house,
Along with Dog Boy.
Along with Dog Boy.
Okay.
Dog Boy's just like that, like the best friend of a frat dude.
I'm just imagining
And he's
it's
like, yo, Dog Boy. And then Dog Boy's like,
Did you watch
like that.
I was thinking, did you watch Wilford?
Oh, I never watched it.
But it's just like Elijah Wood is this guy,
yeah.
and then Dog Boy is just a man in a dog outfit. It's just like, hey,
I'm a dog, he says.
You'll never guess how I died. I got hit by a car.
Oh. He is one of the reported ghosts who now haunts the house. This is Joseph Jackson. The house would remain empty until the Bates family moved in sometime during the 1950s. Floyd and Aline Bates would have a son in 1954, Gerald Floyd Bates.
I'm sorry, shut the fuck up. His name was not spelled Gerald, Jarell.
It's
That's
Arkansas.
not how you spell Gerald.
Oh man, you would have a field day in Utah. You would have a field day. We have fucking kids here named Truxton. Truxton, Truxton.
Oh, an X? I don't know if that's worse or better than a CK.
We have kids
Either
that
way.
we have like girls that are named like Shiley or something or like Shilene, which already sounds weird, but then it's spelled like SHEI.
Yeah, but that's actually
GHLEEENNN or something like that.
that's actually perfect for my new trap remix of Come On Eileen called Come On Shilene, where it's like I do a lot of auto-tune.
Yeah. When is that
great.
dropping?
Tomorrow.
Hell yeah. From an early age, Gerald, I'm going to choose to call him Gerald because I think Gerald is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
From an early age, Gerald was a particularly cruel boy. Those who knew the family report that Floyd and Aline, she's got a weird name too. It's Alline. How would you say that?
Come on.
Aline?
Aline? I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a line, actually.
Sure, we'll say Aline. Those who knew the family report that Floyd and Aline were good parents.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right
That's
either.
not
I'm
right.
sorry.
I think it's Aline. I'm just going to keep saying
Okay,
Aline. were good parents, but Gerald was malicious, demanding, controlling, and always craving attention in inappropriate and tasteless ways. I like that detail of tasteless ways.
He sounds like he's one of those indie boys, manipulative indie boys that I always see on my TikTok. You know, the ones that cuff their jeans and wear their beanies. Yeah, not us. We're cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, cuff their jeans.
Sure.
And wear, like, striped shirts.
Yeah.
With, like, a little necklace.
Collect a lot of vinyl rings. And wear weird vintage clothing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I took us here. I'm just saying, gaslighting's a big word.
Yeah.
I don't know who taught you that.
One example is given. At a family reunion at the Quitman City Hall, Gerald opened a Chase lounge and sat at the front of the room eating grapes like some Roman emperor. So those are those like beach chairs.
That's not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the ones that like
the long
But yeah,
ones.
but so he like
that's actually pretty cool. I see a kid do that. He's my best friend.
But he was like, I guess when he was doing it, he was like smugly looking at his family.
Yeah, I totally get it. I think that's amazing. What the fuck? He lives in... No. Okay, hold on. Fucking Gerald lives in fucking Arkansas. You know his family were probably fucking pricks, and he was probably just like, oh, Father, if I could only muster the courage to have one of these grapes. You know how you like suck a grape into your mouth?
Yeah,
he's sitting back, and then his dad's just like, oh, God damn
this
it,
fucking kid.
boy. He's like this little soft man that's just like, oh, it's so hot out today. Oh, do we have any more of the frozen lemonade?
Yeah. So it's just, yeah. He was teased and bullied at school because of his hulking size and strange behavior and sense of humor.
Okay, well, now this just sounds like he's not the problem. It sounds like society is the problem.
Society.
All right, I didn't do that. I meant this small society of this
All right,
town.
Todd Phillips, why don't you back it up?
I'm just saying, when can white guys be funny again, you know? I'm sick of you having to say all the jokes in this podcast because I'm not allowed to be funny.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
Well, you should be sorry, as a minority. Let me tell you your place.
Thank you, please. As he grew into a teenager, his behavior went from odd to sinister. He began taking in stray dogs and cats. This led to his nickname of Dog Boy being given to him by his peers. But what they didn't know was that he wasn't nurturing or caring for them. He was using them to satisfy his desire for torture and murder.
I mean, they didn't know.
They were like, this kid that we bully all the time and is always mean and rude, he's just taking him in to take care of him. He's got a soft spot for animals.
You ever notice how kittens and puppies go missing amongst that boy that was born down the street? You know, the 13-year-old that's 6'4". Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one that eats grapes like a Nero, the crazy emperor of Rome.
The one who's always like...
you think he's caring for those animals?
I
saw Looney Tunes where he keeps petting, you know, he says he's like, I love him and I'm kissing and his name is George. You think he's doing that, or you think he's like you think he puts his thumb on its, like the back of its neck and just like pushes and pushes and pushes, and when it snaps he goes like, and then like throws it against the wall?
I don't think there's precedent for that to be the case. I think you're misjudging him.
Good point.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to doing things people in Arkansas do. I don't really know what happens there. I'm going to be honest with you.
Back to pronouncing words weirdly.
Arkansas, New York, Iowa, I don't know. Neighbors would later report that they could hear the animals howl in pain as they were being killed in brutal ways. And they did nothing. They didn't... Well, I mean, it's the 60s, so what are the cops going to do? Animal cruelty is not a thing. The cops would probably just show up and shoot them themselves. Are you torturing these cats? Yes.
Well, that's not very efficient. If you just
all right,
shoot
well, don't
them,
do that.
Be done much
all right,
faster.
boys, shoot all these dogs so he can't hurt them anymore. At this point, Gerald had grown to be 6'4", 300 pounds. He turned his attention from dogs and cats to his parents and began to physically and psychologically abuse them both. He reportedly beat his shorter father regularly and once even threw him out a second-floor window, where his father hung on until the authorities arrived. It was later discovered. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, no, you go first. Go with this one.
It was later discovered that he would lock his parents upstairs and only feed them when he desired. He had a sunroom built where he grew marijuana, which he sold for cash. I mean, he's an entrepreneur, so I can't really get mad at him.
This guy is the weirdest guy.
He's a fucking strange dude.
I can't get a fucking read on this
Right?
guy for the life of me.
Mm-hmm. Floyd Bates died at some point in 1981, reportedly from illness, but some speculate he was actually pushed down the stairs by Gerald.
Yes, he died of a new disease called falling down the stairs.
Stairitis.
Yeah, it's where you your brain breaks through your skull because you've fallen down the stairs. It's a terrible way to go.
This is an open and shut case. Let's move on. Well, let's go shoot some dogs down at the local shelter, boys. No doubt, Gerald was a frightening person, a neighbor stated. She was scared of him because of his eyes. If you had seen his eyes, she said, they seemed to glow at night. The neighbor also recalled that when Gerald and some relatives started cleaning up around the house, an uncle came over and asked if he could borrow a gun, because he was afraid that Gerald would get riled up.
Oh.
Sheesh.
Have you ever read Freak the Mighty?
Yeah.
I just keep thinking this is that guy. You know what I mean? That's just
yeah.
like, oh, my hands are so big, I keep breaking everything I
Ralph.
touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, Dad, I love you. Oh, I pushed you down
I'm
the
on a
stairs.
rocket. He's John C. Reilly.
He's constantly just like, he's like, this time I'm gonna nurture the pup. Oh, I snapped its neck again.
Yeah, he's almost
Damn
like,
it, Gerald.
what's the Of Mice and Men? The big dude in
yeah,
that, whatever his name is. But at least that one had a heart. He didn't do it on purpose. Anyway.
That's the plight of little guys like me. I gotta shoot my big friends in the back of the head when they fuck up. Now, you're not big, so if that makes
I'm
you feel
good.
any
I'm
better.
chilling.
Yeah, you're not Joe Pesci small. Like you're bigger than me, but you're not like.
Yeah, I'm not.
I got
Yeah,
like a
I'm
real
not.
Joe
I'm
Pesci
not.
thing where I'm like.
I'm not fucking. I'm not like. Yeah, I'm not John Malkovich size, which he played him in the movie. Did you know that?
And he
Of Mice
John
and Men.
Malkovich played the
The
little
big guy.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Anyway, in 1982, Gerald's abusive ways came to light when he took his mother to the hospital for a broken hip. One of the nurses reportedly witnessed Gerald slapping his mother around and telling her he would have her arrested if she told them how he treated her. Doesn't really make sense there, Gerald, because I think you would go to jail.
Yeah.
But then again, it's the 60s, so you can just be like, this woman's hysterical, and they're like, yeah, all right.
That's true.
Because of this, a lien was removed from the home, and the authorities investigated Gerald, and he was jailed in 1984, but later died of a drug overdose.
But after he got out of jail?
No, in jail.
Oh.
This wasn't
died of a drug overdose in jail? I guess it was probably pretty. It was drugs in jail, especially in this. Okay.
This wasn't the end for Gerald, however. Multiple people who have lived or spent time in this house reported experiencing strange and unexplainable phenomena. A renovator working late one night reported seeing a large, weird-looking man with long brown hair, creepy eyes, and great big arms and hands, holding a cat in a rear sunroom.
Is this just the Halloween kid?
Michael Myers?
It's kind of just that. Yeah, it's kind of just that kid, right?
Kind of is, yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
It was just a big old kind of dumb.
Big old dummy dude who was hurting people as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
He reported that the man walked right in front of him, glaring, before disappearing into the hallway. Another person living in the area claimed to have one night seen a man coming from the direction of the house, walking on all fours. Some other paranormal activities reported around the house include the story of a couple who had moved into the home. The husband was on the phone with a wife who was heading home when he suddenly heard a loud thud come from upstairs. He rushed up there to find the 2x4s, which he had laid on the ground, all standing straight up, which I think is a very interesting visual.
Yeah.
To like walk in and like something that's neatly in a pile is now just like doom, 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 doom. You know, like I think that's
like
kind
in
of
the middle of the room.
Yeah, no, like all over the room. They were all just standing up.
Gotcha.
Which I want to see that in a horror movie. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I think that would be. It's kind of weird, right? Like the ghost is taking the time to be like. Okay.
It's like doing that thing where it's like the dominoes where he's got like holding one and then he lets go of one and it falls and he's like fuck and then he has
it. Okay.
We had a mop fall in our house last night at like 2 a.m. and it scared the shit out of Cheyenne. And I got a real thing where I'll sleep through anything.
Yeah.
So she woke me up and she's like, something fell, and I was like, what? And she was like, I don't fucking know, like, get up and look. And I was like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So I got up and we both went out and looked, and she was like, we found the mop, and she was like, the mop fell. And I was like, it looks like the mop fell. And then I just walked back to bed.
So the 2x4s, right?
Yeah.
And then when the Central Arkansas Society for Paranormal Research, or Casper, investigated the home, they reported cold spots, EVPs, and even spotting a man looking at them from the top window at a time when the house was empty. So, Mason, what do you think of the legend of Dog Boy? Spooky or kooky?
It was pretty spooky, I guess. I don't know. I would assume that I don't get why he's the dog boy. I mean, I guess because
of the dog thing, so then he just became a dog boy in
But he didn't really seem like, even as a ghost, he didn't really seem like a dog boy.
Well, the guy just said he was hairy.
Well.
And then one guy saw him running on all fours. So.
All right.
Well,
all
Mason,
right,
I think it's
spooky-ish, I guess.
Spooky-ish. It's more towards the kooky side.
The stories, it's a scary idea of a ghost is that giant man. You know?
And I left out a bunch of. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'm tired of frail Victorian women. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Being my ghost. I like the idea of it being like an 80s kind of guy. That's kind of fun.
Like a goon.
Yeah, goon.
Yeah, like a
real goon.
A goon. I think I left out a couple of other instances because there was like so much to this one afterwards in terms of what people had seen. So I just picked some of the more standout ones.
Examples, yeah.
But I'll link it in the show notes and people can go read. But there was a bunch of other stuff that happened that people report at this house. But I would like to clarify that this story is 100% true. Gerald Batus did exist and was indeed, by all accounts, an asshole who tortured animals and the elderly and died of a drug overdose.
Whoa. Well, that adds a little bit of it because at least it was a real story.
Yeah. So,
well,
isn't
I'm
that
glad
fun?
He's dead.
Yeah, he was a prick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Caves are...
Was the grape story true?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I
did
love
grape
how that's
thing.
the example of like, he's a troubled, no good Nick. Cut to him just being like, these grapes, I'm so fancy and rich.
Fetch me my chariot, he says.
Would you get me a carafe, please? Gerald, stop being fucking weird.
You're being fucking weird, dude. We invited you to this house party so we could get you some fucking girls or something. Why are you doing this?
Look what I'm doing to the grapes.
Gerald, go home, man. And the whole football team's like, Gerald, we're gonna fucking beat you up now for this.
Yeah, but he's 6'4" and 300 pounds, so he was probably like, I'll smash your fucking brain in.
That's
also,
true.
yeah, he was also like a psychopath, so he was like, oh, you want to beat me up? He'll do a real like Tom Holland thing and the devil all the time. Where he, like, beats the shit out of those kids.
Yeah. Wow, I'm gonna make this movie.
Real
now.
Story. Tom Holland beat the shit.
He did.
Kidding. Tom Holland seems like too nice of a person to even belittle like that.
Caves are intriguing and interesting things. They are openings into the depths of the earth, literally offering a view into what lies below. For some, they excite and present a challenge worthy of accepting. And for others like myself, they represent something you don't want to fuck with at all.
I can do any cave that when I have to start squeezing through stuff, I can't do caves.
Yeah.
I can go through well-tunneled caves.
I will not go past the point where I don't see the light anymore.
Oh, I would go all the way into a cave. as long as
have I talked about this before? I'm terrified of underground. I don't like it.
Oh no, I like the underground. I just don't like having to squeeze through shit. But if it's just like a walkway, like a doorway kind of size. Tunnel,
I read a lot about we'll have to do an episode on it. But I read a lot about the Paris catacombs when I was a kid. And like the urban legends and stuff, and like people getting lost in it. And then I watched like videos of like the one guy who like they found was his camera, and it was like him like trying to surf or some shit down there.
Yeah,
and they just terrified me.
The
one guy who's like exploring, and then he's running from something, and he drops the camera in a puddle, and then that's all they found of him. Yeah,
I would.
And then I watched the movie As Above, So Below, which is just Dante's Inferno basically. And I was like, no, I'm not fucking with this. I was like, no, thank you, not for me.
But did you see that picture of the weird underground theater they found, though?
See,
They
that's
found
what I'm talking about.
Furbished, like modern
Oh,
day
yes,
theater.
yes.
And
Yeah.
with like a bar and shit in it. I fucking would go down. I mean, not by myself. I wouldn't just get put on a light on my head and be like, let's go.
Yeah.
But if I had like a guide, I would absolutely explore
See,
the
just
shit out of
talking
those
about it
things.
gives me the heebie-jeebies.
But I like bones.
But I don't.
I want a human skull so badly.
I don't.
I feel like Cheyenne would hate it, but I would love to have a skull. You know what I really want? I was telling Cheyenne this the other day. You know what the biggest irony of my life is? The biggest conundrum for me is?
What?
All I want is to hold my own skull, but I can't because I'd be dead.
Yeah.
But I just want to hold my own. I want to hold my skull and be like, blap, blap, blap. Hello, I'm Mason. I want to do it so badly, and I'll never be able to.
All you can do is hope to turn into a cartoonish skeleton when you die, so that you can do that.
That's
be
my
like,
dream.
And then you roll
Honestly,
it down your
dude,
hand.
Yes, I would be
And your little dance?
the best cartoon. Yes, I would do so
Yeah.
many dances. I would learn so many songs. I would learn to play my
You
ribs
come-
like the fucking xylophone.
If you're gonna come back as a skeleton, I just request that when you come to visit to see me, you do the friend like me from Aladdin. So you just come
That's
and
a
you're
good
like,
one.
you will never have had a friend like me, and then you take your head off, and I'm like, ah,
Yes,
and
but
then
I'm
I
gonna
throw
start
up.
it right. You're gonna be asleep, right?
Yeah.
And you're just gonna
Add
hear,
some
like,
chains though, like.
well, yeah, but you'll be asleep and you're just gonna hear like.
What? I reach for my glasses and I'm like, who's there?
And then the lights are gonna be like. And then I'm gonna slide out of your closet playing my fucking rib cage. Yeah.
That's very fun. Yeah. Only you can haunt me if you do that.
Boop, boop, boop. I'm gonna flick off my arm bone and it's a fucking flute and I'm like my legs
man.
got strings on it. It's a guitar. I'm gonna be the best cartoon skeleton.
Oh my god, the guy who made a guitar out of his uncle's bones.
Yeah,
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, he was cool.
It's fucking crazy.
He didn't
Anyway,
steal the bones.
no, he didn't.
It's
I guess.
not illegal.
I guess it's not, isn't it? But
Oh, I'd be a good ghost too.
yeah.
Say that.
Anyway, one particular cave in Arkansas might just be worth exploring for us, Mason. This is one that I might go in with you. This is the legend of Blowing Cave. It has
Shut up.
it's nothing to do with that, but it's just funny.
Is that why you want to go with me so badly?
You have to blow each other when you go in. That's how you can enter.
It's the rule.
I'm not making this up. So Blowing Cave, home to disembodied voices, strange orbs and shadows, and a race of subterranean humanoids known as the Taros.
Nice.
In the 1950s, an author by the name of Richard Schaefer wrote a book.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's Shaver. That means
Shaver,
his
yeah.
name is Dick Shaver.
Dick Schaefer.
I think this is a prank, Jose. I think you may have gotten pranked on this one because I don't think Dick Shaver
it's
did
a
do
real
this.
cave. It's a real cave, and he did write this book. So Dick Shaver
Wrote the book on Blowing Cave. Yeah.
wrote a book called The Underground Empire, which detailed the events of an expedition that was exploring Blowing Cave. This team, Blowing Cave also sounds like another name for your butthole. Like,
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna let
true.
one rip out of my Blowing Cave.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I ate so much I got a whole underground empire in the Blowing Cave.
This team supposedly discovered a secret passageway within the cave that led them 5 miles into the earth. They came upon a massive cavern which they named the Glass Cave, and from there proceeded down strange glowing tunnels. The tunnels would lead them to come into contact with a group of humanoids known as the Blue People or the Taros. They were highly intelligent and even possessed an electronic device which allowed them to translate their speech and communicate clearly with the expedition team.
Hello. This is what we call an iPod.
So, the following is an excerpt from Shaver's book.
Dick Shaver's book about
Dick Shaver's
Blowing
book.
Cave. The most shocking surprise of all, however, occurred on the third day after exploration of this tunnel began. A considerable distance from the crevasse. Wait, what?
From the crevice?
Okay, I was right. From the crevasse from which they entered the tunnel, They were walking along when all of a sudden they turned around and found themselves face to face with a group of human-like beings who stood around 7 to 8 feet tall, their skin a faint pale blue, almost clay bluish tint, and their eyes were relatively large and owl-like, but they were definitely human. According to David L., who was on this particular expedition, the people took out some type of electronic device, apparently some kind of parabolic communicator. And after a few attempts, they succeeded in establishing a communication link using the electronic translator.
According to lore, in order to enter the subterranean empire, you must slip through a crevice between the cave's entrance and the underwater lake. Then, through another crevice which leads to a stairway. Reports of interactions with this mysterious race date all the way back to the 1940s and 50s. According to legend, many explorers have perished while looking for the Taros. So, if you're thinking of exploring this cave, then you best be prepared to quite possibly never see the light of day again. Mason, what do you think? Spooky or kooky?
Okay, well, I got a few things about this first. First off, I'm totally down for looking at it, assuming the crevices... I know I was just saying I need, like, a doorway. I could do it if the crevice is, like... If I just have to turn sideways to get through that crevice, I'll do it, no problem. It's anything that I have to, like, crawl.
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't know if you watched people, like, tunnel where they get to these, like, situations where it's like, I'm just gonna bring my foot and my knee up past my head here, and then I'm gonna split through it. I'm gonna pull my bag through, and then I'm gonna have to figure out how to get back through, because there's no way I can do this backwards. Anyway, let's get into more underground.
Yeah. No.
So
I would go to this, and so you can actually rent it out for groups, which is very fun. You can rent out Blown Cave for groups,
awesome.
And you can camp. You can set up your base camp at like the entrance to the cave.
Underground?
You can. They have a camp set up at like the entrance of the cave. That's your base camp.
But there's nothing like underground, because that would be super cool. I would spend the night.
You can try it. So there is an actual underwater lake, which is what most people try to get to, but like it's such a tighter space that.
Is it so? Like, I'm guessing it's got to be pretty safe then to like travel it if they're renting it out to groups.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
To a certain point. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm sure you still have to sign waivers and shit. It's still going underground.
But the reason I would visit this is because I read a piece by this paranormal group who actually went and did an investigation, and they didn't go that far in because they were there to investigate the like ghosts and hauntings that are reported there instead of like the trying to find the Taros. But yeah, there's like a ton of paranormal instances happening there aside from the subterranean race.
Oh, that's super cool. I love it. But I don't know if I fully buy that the underground race is 7 to 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
I think an underground race has got to be shorter.
Yeah.
And they got to be like crawly.
Maybe they're just like tall and long though.
The Descent?
Yes.
That's going to be an underground race. You know what I mean? Of weird cannibals. I love The Descent. That's one of my favorite horror movies.
I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through.
You should watch the original one. They made a remake and it's not as good.
Yeah, not the American or
they changed
one or
not the American one. The American one they changed the ending and it was like
That's why I'm terrified of the underground, man.
I love it.
Oof. Anyway,
I think it's spooky, but in the best way possible.
Yeah. Well, I should clarify this, and this is not me trying to discredit any of this, but Shaver was a sci-fi writer, and in his book, the companion who gets left behind in the world of the Taros, conveniently gets erased from the world. So basically, he presents this book to be like a detailed account or whatever, right, of this expedition. And then he's like, I don't remember who the character is that stays behind, but he's like, and this researcher, he stayed behind and lived his days out with the Taros. And then when people were like, well, what happened to him? He's like, and the strangest thing occurred. When we got back to the modern world, his birth record had disappeared, and any trace of him was erased from the earth. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. That's just good. That's just like good marketing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. It's like whatever.
But
he was doing like a mockumentary thing.
But I think someone should make a documentary on this because I think there's enough material there to be. Because he wrote this, right? And then people are like, but then also there was like a huge following that was like, no, this is real. And there was like people who were like, there was one guy I read about.
want to read. Is the book worth reading? Do you know?
I don't know.
Have you seen your reviews? I want to read it.
I haven't. No.
I'll look it up.
But
I'm gonna buy it. What was it called?
Empire.
The Underground Empire?
Underground Empire, yeah. So there was one guy that I read about who like up and left his family and just like moved to Arkansas, I believe, and he like spent his entire life trying to compile like evidence to prove that Shaver was right. And then the urban legend is that he died in the cave. Nobody really knows where he died because he just disappeared. But see, it's like stuff like that I'm like, that's what's interesting to me, is that like there was a group out there that believed in it strongly enough to go and do something like that.
I like to think that that one guy was just like, he was like spent so many days down there, and then one day he was like searching along a wall, and he just goes, "This is all fucking bullshit," and he just walks out of the cave and just is like, "I'm a farmer now."
Yeah. What was I gonna say? There was also another thing that I read that said that the Taros were actually descendants of Noah, who found these subterranean caverns, and that's how they survived the flood.
Interesting.
Or, well, I guess if they're descendants of Noah, it would be after the flood. That doesn't check out. But yeah, the Taros have like, they even have like a enemy race of other subterranean humanoids named like the Eros or the Daros or something like that. So I didn't want to get into all that lore, but I still think it's spooky though. Just the idea of it. I like a subterranean race. I feel like we haven't encountered
I do too.
much.
Yeah, that one's super cool.
Our next legend is one I'm sure you're all familiar with. A story that has been recounted around the campfire and at sleepovers 1,000 times over. It begins like most urban legends do, with a couple at a lover's lane. As the young couple begins to get busy, their makeout session is suddenly interrupted by the music changing to a news report that alerts the couple that a man has escaped from the local insane asylum and is brandishing a hook for a hand, which he has been committing murders across the state. So I imagine it goes like, "That's some wet ass. This just in, a man with a hook. He's bad." And then wet ass pussy. You know? Was that any
I
good?
don't think you can say wet ass pussy on the radio.
Damn it.
I think the
It changes to wet and gushy, isn't it?
Wet
Isn't that
and
what it is?
gushy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some wet and gushy.
Some wet and gushy.
It's grosser somehow. It's
I don't
clean
like
is
that.
grosser than
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
The girl is frightened, but the boy, being a man, brushes it off and tries to convince her to return to what they were doing. She obliges, and they get right back to it.
Okay.
As they're about to make it to home base, they're interrupted by a noise coming from the woods. The girl insists the boy drive her home, which
Jose,
he
drive
reluctantly
me
does.
home right now. Drive me home.
It's not.
I'm not podcasting.
Less than a minute.
I'm
Less
not
than a minute.
podcasting
I don't
in
even
your
need a minute.
car
30
anymore.
seconds. I just need 30 seconds.
We're not doing the podcast anymore. I don't want to be here.
I was just about to get to the ad.
It's me. I'm in the car.
It's me and Mason.
Word podcasting in the car.
Yes. When they reach the girl's house, the boy gets out to walk to her doorstep when he hears the girl screaming hysterically while pointing at her door.
Ew.
That's your hysterical scream?
Ah.
What is it?
Uh-oh.
The boy comes around the car to see what she's pointing at. There on the side of the car is a bloody hook. So there on the side of the car is a bloody hook. Realization dawns on the couple that they had stayed at that if they had stayed at the lover's lane any longer, they would have become victims of the hook.
Yeah, this always cracks me up because I just he had his hook in the door and right when they drove off and he was like, "Fuck my hook." You know what I mean? I don't get that. Mm-hmm.
Well, as it turns out, this legend may just have its origins in a town on the Texas-Arkansas border, known as Texarkana, and the murders that rocked the area.
Absolutely not. It's Texarkana, and there's beer in the folks are thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana, and they're gonna bring it back no matter what it takes, because they're eastbound and down, Jose. They're loading it up and trucking.
What are you doing?
They're gonna do what they say can't be done. They got a long way to go and a short time to get there. They're eastbound. Just watch Old Bandit run.
What is this?
I could do that whole song. You've never seen Smokey and the Bandit?
No.
Burt Reynolds' masterpiece with some country singer. It's not Jerry Lewis, but I always want to say it's Jerry Lewis. It's a movie where he's a trucker.
Yeah,
and then,
no, I'm familiar with it.
And he's the bandit, and he drives a Corvette, and he like destroys distractions. They're smuggling booze from Texarkana to Atlanta.
Okay, so
There's
it's
beer in
Texarkana.
Texarkana.
Okay, sorry. God.
You're gonna bring it back no matter what it takes.
A town known as Texarkana and the murders that rocked the area, known as the Moonlight Murders. It all began in 1946, when the town of Texarkana would earn the infamous nickname given to it by the 1976 film of the same name, The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Honestly, that's a good name.
Such a good name.
It's such
They
a good
fucking
name.
killed it with that title.
Yes.
Holy shit. The first attack took place on February 22nd, 1946. The killer, who was later dubbed the Phantom Killer or the Phantom Slayer, approached the car of Jimmy Hollis, who was parked on a secluded country road with Mary Jean Larry. He blinded them with his flash.
Mary Jean Larry. You make me feel like I'm a real man.
He blinded them with his flashlight before drawing a gun on them. He ordered them out of the vehicle and ordered Jimmy to remove his pants.
Uh-oh, is this a game Mason's playing of did he just make fun of people who actually got murdered?
Yes.
Oh,
After this, no, they both lived. After this, he proceeded to savagely beat Jimmy, fracturing his skull. The Phantom then told Mary to run before chasing her and sexually assaulting her with his firearm before letting her go. Both Jimmy and Mary would survive and go on to describe the killer to the authorities. They described him as wearing a white mask or sack with holes cut out for eyes, the chilling description that would inspire the killer in the 1976 film. I have to say this, I really dig that look. I'm sorry, I know he killed people, right?
Yeah.
But there's something menacing about the simplicity of just a sack with holes in it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's what? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, it's probably not a clan. Well,
No, yeah, but I think that's how they got. Have you ever seen Django Unchained? That's how they got their start.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but this guy
but no,
was.
yes.
Is he? Let's play another round of Mason's terrible hypotheticals. Is it better to be a clan member or a murderer?
Murderer.
Really? I was gonna say.
Yeah, because if you're murdering.
yeah, no, I agree. It's better to be a murderer.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Actually,
because at least you're killing everybody. You know what I mean? You don't discriminate in terms of murder.
I'm gonna let our fans decide.
But yeah, and he's got like the it kind of reminds me of Hooded Justice.
Yeah,
from Watchmen.
Yeah,
but he's got like a little bit of like string tied around to tighten it or whatever. I don't know. I dig the look.
Yeah,
I think
cool.
that is kind of horrifying because it's like,
Yeah.
look at this fucking bum. He can't even make a good costume like the Zodiac. He just threw a fucking sack over his head. Oh, now I'm
Did
dead.
the Zodiac have a good costume?
Yeah, he didn't have a good costume, but he had like the executioner's kind of big, boxy hood
That's
thing.
still just a bag on his head.
Yeah, right.
That's just a different kind of bag on his head.
When are real life murderers gonna start dressing up like killers in slasher movies?
It'd be a little more fun.
Yeah,
Have some fun.
I get
with
stabbed
it.
by a guy who is Ghostface. Come on.
Well, don't rip that. Yeah, don't rip that off.
No, but I
Make
mean,
it
if
your
that
own
wasn't a
mask.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be like, oh, his face, and then I'm dead. You know?
Oh no. Yeah.
Oh no. The killer would strike again, this time finishing the job.
Jokes and jokes, and then he murdered again.
In March, Richard Griffin and Ann Moore were found dead in their parked car at the end of yet another secluded road. Griffin and Moore were both shot fatally through the back of the head. Only a few weeks later, the Phantom would claim another pair of victims, Paul Martin and Betty Jo Booker. Booker would be his youngest victim, only 15 years old when she was found 2 miles away from the body of Martin. In the first week of May, the killer would attack what would be his final official victims, Virgil and Katie Starks. Virgil was shot 2 times in the back of the head and died almost instantly. Katie, despite being shot twice in the face, survived and even managed to run to a neighbor's house for help. The killer's targeting of couples and lack of other identifiable motives, such as burglary or revenge, led many in the area to believe that the killer was some sort of sex maniac. Nearly 400 people.
They were probably right. They just didn't know what serial killers were yet, so they were just like,
sex maniac.
They called it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was, yeah.
Nearly 400 people were arrested in connection with the killings.
suspects. Nice.
Sex maniac.
That's my new porno version of the unusual suspects. The unusual suspects. Huh? Yeah.
That's very good. Suspects included a University of Arkansas freshman who committed suicide in 1948, an escaped German prisoner of war, an LA resident who believed that he may have committed the crimes while in a coma. So
All right, well, it definitely wasn't him.
This dude just narked on himself. He was like, I think I did it.
Oh, man. I think I was in a coma and maybe killed a bunch of people.
Like, no, it wasn't
I don't think you did. Get the fuck out of here.
No, I think it was me. No, fuck, get out, dude. God.
Oh, man, have you tried pot yet? Oh,
it's just so baked he goes to turn himself in.
He's like Bill Hader from Pineapple Express. Yeah, just like, I don't know, man. I think I may have killed those people. Like, no, you didn't. You've been here.
God, fuck.
Oh, man. What if I kill again?
You fucking won't. Get out.
Oh, man.
Although many believe the killer was U.L. Swiney, he was never officially tied to the case, and thus the identity of the Phantom Killer remains a mystery. But his legacy continues to haunt the back roads of Texas and Arkansas. But does he haunt you, Mason?
Well, first, can I ask, why did they think it was this U.L. Sweeney guy? It's okay if you don't know.
Yes, I do remember. Sorry, it's been a while since I read this one. Because he was tried he was like constantly in and out of jail. And he was convicted for a while on cases of like Grand Theft Auto and all this stuff. And then his wife basically all but admitted that it was him, where she was like, she gave a bunch of details where everybody was like, was your husband the killer? And so like from there, the theory circulated, but there wasn't enough evidence to ever like officially tie him to it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and then I also think he owned a beat up car that was similar to one spotted by the police. So this whole case, and it goes back to the same argument we made with Villisca of small towns aren't prepared for shit like this. And so these cops, there was one of the nights of the murder, they were driving down this road because they had to get, what was it that they had to do? It was some paperwork shit that they were delivering to the station before the station closed. And so they were like hurrying, and they passed this beat up car on the side of the road a couple miles from where one of the victims were killed that was believed to have been the car of the killer. And the cops were like, if we hadn't been in a hurry, we would have stopped to investigate. We probably could have caught this guy before he struck. And then they just drove past it, though. They were like, whatever. And then when it happened, they were like, oh, fuck, that we probably fucked that up.
I'm just saying, like, if there's a serial killer, I guess, again, they didn't know what serial killers were. But if there's a guy who's committing multiple murders,
forget about the paperwork.
Probably just be like, I think we got time, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Well, I mean, what are they going to do?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. But anyway, does he haunt you, Mason? Do you think the legend of the Moonlight Murders is spooky or kooky?
Any uncaught real-life serial killer is super scary.
And
I mean, the
Zodiac
is...
The Hook legend is blah, but, it's fun.
No, that's only because it's so cliche.
It's one that when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, I got to watch out for the Hook. When I was like, the Hook is going to play a bigger part of my life than I realize.
No, I think it's really spooky because it's spooky. It's spooky. I mean, the East Area rapist, fucking Zodiac and this guy. I mean, thankfully they caught that fuck, the rapist. But they're scary when they don't get caught because it's just like, Jesus Christ, man. He's just an old man now, fucking doing shit, hanging out with his grandchildren. You know what I mean?
That's like the Golden
shit.
State Killer guy.
That's the East Area.
Is that the East Area?
They're the same. Yeah, he had a bunch of things. A fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. Or who did they catch recently that was also an old man? Yeah, was it Samuel Little? Yeah, 93 murders. Yep, it was this old dude.
Yeah,
he just died last year.
He replaced Gary Ridgway as the
I think so,
most prolific American serial killer.
Jeez, yeah, he was known as the choke and stroke killer.
I don't like that very much.
I don't like that. Don't like that at all. Anyway, but yeah, spooky for sure, right? And one already. Texarkana.
You motherfucker.
Texarkana, already a fucking cool town name, right? Texarkana. I like it.
Yeah.
But then The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I got to watch this movie. I've never seen it, but
Yeah, I haven't either.
they made a remake recently.
They did.
But I want to
I
watch
think
the
it was
original.
I'd like to watch them both, honestly.
But God, what a fucking name. The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Yeah.
And apparently the town though, they're cool with it now. They have like an annual viewing where it's like a
They
festival.
embrace it. Yeah, that's actually it would be
Yeah.
really cool to go to that. But
It must suck for the families.
well,
But
I don't,
but
yeah,
I bet
don't
you know.
I
don't
mean,
know.
this started in the 40s, didn't it?
Yeah,
So,
this was in the 40s. Yeah.
Not that makes it more okay.
No,
it's
no,
just
but
it's an
yeah.
even older one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
Anyway.
guessing the families probably aren't even around there anymore.
No. Yeah. Well,
I mean, also, I hope it makes it. I don't know. Do you think a serial killer would like that? That people are like, awesome, fun movie, or do you think he would be like, those sons of bitches should fear me, they're below me? Because you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I don't know.
It's
If they
interesting.
made a
Fuck
movie
this
about
guy.
me, I would. I mean, wait.
That sounds like you're a serial killer, Jose.
Well, back on the hog and into the swamps, Mason, as we head south.
I just painted these tires.
Well,
This is not gonna be good for it.
no. Did you bring the all-terrain tires?
I didn't.
Fuck!
I normally put them in the sidecar. That's where you're sitting. Where else would I put them? It's a fucking motorcycle.
Well, we're heading south into the Bayou State of Louisiana. So, get over it. Picture this. You're a bag of dicks. Picture this. You are visiting the state of Louisiana with your podcast co-host. Before you head into New Orleans, you decide to spend the night in the swamps. How could you not? You make camp in a relatively dry spot surrounded by old moss-covered trees that have been there much longer than any man. The alcohol starts flowing, and pretty soon, you've got to drain the Kraken. You excuse yourself from the fire and head into the woods to take a leak. As you find a good tree and begin to water it, you hear a strange howl coming from the distance. You quickly stop and listen. Mason?
I'm the one taking a pee, remember?
All right. It's strange. You know what a coyote sounds like and what a wolf sounds like,
Coyote sounds like.
but this howl sounds like neither. It sounds
I know
more
this
human.
mystery. This is the mystery of the Koof.
Yes,
The notorious coyote wolf hybrid.
Damn it, Mason.
I should have said Wyote.
Yeah. Oh. That sounds like a strain of peyote. Wyote. Like white man peyote. Wyote.
Honestly, we could make a killing if we just started Wyote.
Yeah, what are we
know what I
doing,
mean?
man? I'm going to write that down.
Wyote, okay.
It doesn't sound like either one of those. It sounds more human with a dash of monster. Then you see it. Out in the distance, perched on a rock, is a large wolf-like beast. Or so you think. And then it stands up on two hind legs, and because you're a very talented urban legend researcher at this point, you know exactly what it is. You are staring not at a werewolf, but a Rougarou. And you're shit out of luck. Well, in this case, it was more me, but you would
I
be
see
fine.
that now.
Yeah. Because if it's me, you're a Catholic who hasn't been keeping up with Lent. If it's you, I think you're fine. If that sounds strange, Mason, it's because
It does
fucking
actually sound
is.
very strange.
The colorful yet frightening legend of the Rougarou is one that has been around Louisiana for a long time. The legend has its origins in French folklore, where a similar beast exists known as the loup-garou. The loup-garou is the French word for werewolf, and in medieval France, loup-garou were blamed for pretty much everything that happened. A child went missing? Boom. Loup-garou. Your house got broken into? Boom. Loup-garou. Your wife left you because you came home drunk yet again? Boom. Loup-garou. So, when the French came to the New
Jose,
World...
I mean, honestly, we gotta work on your songwriting, but it's... other than that, it's...
Boom,
It's
loup-garou.
like the worst Beastie Boys song in the world. Like, your house got broken into, boom, loup-garou. Your wife left you because you're drinking loup-garou. It's like, guys.
That sounds actually pretty good. I don't know what you're
we're not,
talking
this
about.
one's not making the album, guys. I'm gonna be honest.
So, when the French came to the New World, they brought this legend with them, but some twists were added. The Rougarou is described as having the head of a wolf or dog and elongated and gnarled body of a man. Unlike most depictions of werewolves, it is not entirely covered in hair. It stalks the swamps of Louisiana on the prowl for Catholics who have not been maintaining Lent or children who misbehave and ignore their parents.
Uh-huh.
So it looks
Okay.
kind of like the werewolf from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like, so
but a
I
little
could just
more
be,
hair.
I would, yeah, so I could just have a beer with the Rougarou.
I think so, right?
I mean, I could just be,
Yeah.
he would be like, just like mauling you to death, and I would just
Yeah.
be like, hey,
Hey, and he's just
you
like,
want
Hey.
you want a beer?
is that like a local craft? What do you got?
Yeah, actually, we just picked it up outside of
Oh, hell
New
yeah.
Orleans.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
is that Rougarou?
Yeah, it's the
fuck, no
Rougarou brew,
way.
dude. What the fuck? How crazy is that?
There is a Rougarou brew. We'll get to it.
Awesome.
So, you yourself can become a Rougarou if you go 7 consecutive years without observing Lent. I only need 4 more.
I want to convert to Catholicism just to become a Rougarou. That sounds like, oh, here, did you want out of your shitty life of being an adult who pays bills? How about you be a fucking man-eating werewolf for the rest of your life?
Yeah, all right.
Yes, please.
You can also become a Rougarou by means of a curse. If someone cursed you, you would become a Rougarou and could only be saved if someone else cut you and drew blood.
Oh,
and
it's
drew
like
blood.
so these are like jinx rules.
Yeah, I guess. But the curse would then transfer onto that person. So if I was a Rougarou and you cut me and drew blood, then you would become a Rougarou, and I'm saved.
If you're a Rougarou, I'll save you at a moment. Just let me know. I'll be right there, cut you, and I'll roam the
In
deserts.
4
and-
years, I will
and
be one.
cliffs.
So
I'll roam the deserts and cliffs of Utah, snacking
Hell
up
yeah.
fucking other motherfuckers. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
But don't be dismayed. You can indeed protect yourself from the Rougarou. All you need is 13 pennies. If you place 13 pennies on your doorstep or windowsill, it'll keep you safe from a Rougarou home invasion, as the pennies will draw his attention and he will set out to try and count them. But since Rougarous can only
Stop.
count up to 12, it will leave
the
him
fuck up.
frustrated and stumped as to the number of objects, causing him to abandon his pursuit for fear of being caught at sunrise. So Mason, what do you think? Spooky
fucking-
or
no, it's kooky.
kooky? You see what I did there? It was like a howl.
It reminded me of the Cookie Crisp. Remember
'Cause
that
he had
wolf
the-
that was like
yeah.
Cookie Crisp? It was fucking. But yeah, okay. But also, if I'm just not Catholic, I don't have to worry about it.
I don't know. It's strange. I tried to look for some answers to that, but it seems like you don't. Well, no. It did say that it was looking for children who misbehave. So it's just children and
Right.
grown-up Catholics that have to worry about it.
It's so weird. I mean, I get it because New Orleans is a heavy Catholic.
Well,
area,
yeah,
right?
because so Louisiana was French, and then it was given to the
Right.
Spanish, and the Spanish developed a lot of Louisiana, like New Orleans, and then it was given back to the French, and then the French came in, and so it's a mixture of Spanish and French
with the
the Americans and Creole and Haitians
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But yeah, and also France was heavily Catholic as well.
It's
So-
just, I mean, it's like werewolves are cool, but
It
it's
fucking
weird that.
sends me that it has to
can
count
only
13 pennies. That it can
but
only
it
count
can't-
12 pennies.
So technically, you could put out. You don't have to. It doesn't even have to be 13 pennies. You could put out a handful of just as long as you grab more than 12, you're fine.
Yeah.
And that drives, especially that it not only, it's not like it just like gets mad. It's like it tries a few times to count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ah, fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes, that it
It's
fucking
spreading them
cracks me
out.
the
It's
fuck
putting
up.
them in
Yes.
groups. It's like
It's
1, 2,
trying
3,
so
4,
hard
5.
because it knows it's smart enough to know that there is a number that comes after 12, but it can't figure it out. So it just is like, fuck, I give up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. 12 part
Third.
2? No, that's not right. That's not right.
30? No.
No, fuck.
Third.
Third.
I know it's I know it's a one.
For 12. No, that's not it. That's not one.
It's French. Un, deux, trois, fuck! Fuck! I gotta go home. The sun's coming up.
You win this time.
Next time I'm counting to fucking
Yeah,
You ever think it wakes up in the middle of the day? It's like 13. Fuck,
Yeah.
And then I
then
think it
it's
doesn't
like-
have a pen.
yeah, it's like, I'm gonna
fuck,
remember.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
remember this time. And then he gets there. He's like, shit.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's kooky too. It's funny, but it's kooky for sure. There is apparently a rum company called Rougarou Rum, and they have a praline-infused rum called 13 Pennies, which sounds very good, and I would
Amazing. That
love
sounds
to try
super
that.
tasty. I want to
So
try
if
that
we are
really bad.
ever down in Louisiana, we got to pick up some of that rum.
Yes, I fully agree.
Yeah. Now, our next legend, Mason, honestly rocks me. And I believe that there's enough here to do a full episode on this particular legend, so we won't be diving too much into this one. This
Okay.
is the legend of the vampire Comte de St. Germain. Our legend
Okay.
takes place, Comte is French for count. Our legend takes place in New Orleans with a mysterious figure known as Jacques St. Germain. According to legend, in the early 1900s, this enigmatic immigrant arrived in the city of New Orleans, handsome, classy, and very wealthy, with mysterious and undetermined origins. He quickly rose to the top of New Orleans high society social circles
Sure.
as his reputation preceded him. He was said to have been taking residence in a home on 1039 Royal Street. He was a
Yes.
ladies' man, seldom seen without a woman wrapped around his arm, and frequently threw lavish parties that were the talk of the town.
I know this story. But
It's
at
Bruce
night,
Wayne.
He dressed up like a bat and fought crime. Yes, I get it.
But more famous and sought out were not his parties, but his conversations. He would charm and captivate guests with elaborate tales of adventures in Egypt, France, Italy, and many more places. Guests were a bit confused when he talked of events taking place hundreds of years prior with such extreme detail that it almost seemed as if he had been there.
Yes, have you ever seen the pyramids at night? Or the Eiffel Tower at night? Have you ever
it's like you've-
seen the Sistine Chapel at night?
At night. Hey, Squidward. I'm mopping the ceiling at night.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? They're just
Yes,
like,
yes,
hey,
they're like,
Jacques,
wow.
why are all your stories at night?
No reason. Anyway, we're going golfing tomorrow. Do you want to come?
Have
Well,
you
I
ever
would love
been
to come,
night
but
golfing?
Are we doing
it's-
night golfing? Perhaps, huh?
It's much better. It's much better than regular golfing.
That sounds like it would be a pain because you wouldn't be able to see the ball. Glow in the dark balls. I have a bunch. Don't even worry about it. Not long after he had arrived, Jacques claimed to be a direct descendant of the equally mysterious Comte de St. Germain, an actual documented historical figure who had been a trusted friend of King Louis XV of France. This claim aroused skepticism, but it was undeniable that he bore a very striking resemblance to the Comte. Rumors
Also,
started.
the whole last name thing.
Yeah.
Because I have Saint Germain probably isn't a super normal name,
no.
right?
Rumors started to spread in jest that perhaps Jacques was the Comte, rendered immortal through some strange circumstance. Although his parties always had the best food, the Count never seemed to partake of the meals at his gatherings, instead always clutching a chalice of what everyone presumed was wine. Things took a Jacques. I referred to him as a Count there, but it's still, we're talking about Jacques still. Things took a turn, however, when police were called to investigate the circumstances that led to a woman falling from a balcony in St. Germain's home. But as police questioned the woman, she revealed she had jumped from the balcony herself in an attempt to get away from St. Germain. It appears the woman and St. Germain had been talking all night, and he invited her up to his bedroom for a view of the city from the balcony, or perhaps to bump uglies.
You ever fuck a vampire?
I would. Yeah. I would, yeah. Again, I would do it again. Yeah.
Just a vamp? Like, that's all you're...
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
sure. Hey, vampires can be ugly, you know.
Don't think so. I think you become handsome when you become, or you just become good looking.
I get what you're saying because technically there's never really been portrayed an ugly vampire, but
even Nosferatu, he's kind of handsome.
I mean, like, I got a thing for ghouls. You know, I mean,
Peter,
listen,
Peter
I'm
from
not saying,
Peter from What We Do in the Shadows. You tell me?
Like, I'm not saying that they're conventionally attractive. I'm just saying that personally, there's a thing about being gaunt and scary that I'm like, I get it.
They had stepped out onto the balcony, and that was when Saint Germain assaulted the woman, biting her neck and drawing blood. The woman was only able to escape when someone knocked loudly on his door and drew his attention away, which is when she made the leap and began to scream hysterically. The woman was taken to the hospital, and the police, who suspected the woman of being nothing but a delusional member of the opposite sex, because, it's the early 1900s, they told Saint Germain to come into the police station the next morning, if he could, to go over the events of the night. However, the next morning, Saint Germain did not appear at the police station. In fact, to everyone's surprise, Saint Germain had seemingly left town and vanished. Now, according to the legend, when the police went to Saint Germain's home and broke in, they found a series of opened but corked bottles of what appeared to be wine, but upon further inspection was discovered to be human blood. Jacques Saint Germain was never seen again. He had disappeared as quickly as he had appeared. What do you think, Mason? Spooky or kooky?
Well, okay, I'm gonna cheat and think a little bit here, and this is a little bit probably of a meta move here.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, it was pretty kooky based on the story. But since the way you introduced it makes me think that there's probably a lot more to this that's probably a little scarier. Because that was just kind of like, sure, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, and my judgment of it is biased because I did do all the research. So I'm going to say spooky. But yes, I can see why Just a Legend is kind of kooky. Yeah.
Just what I've heard here, because I mean, it's like nothing really ever. I mean, it's such a very cliche vampire story. There's nothing really like, okay, so a lady, even if the lady falling from the balcony is true, the rest could just be made up. He could have just disappeared because, I mean, like, that's a whole thing with all of these stories is anybody in this time. You'd move one town away and you were just, you could just be like, my name's Ted.
And they're like, yeah, all right, that's Ted.
Yeah, cool. Hey,
that's Ted, the
you
rich French.
Come over for dinner? Yeah, right?
Aristocrat.
Yeah, you could do whatever, but...
Hello, my name is, how you say, Ted?
Not to, so I don't have to, we don't have to spoil anything either, but did he go outside in the day?
No, I don't know. I didn't read anything about that.
Gotcha. They didn't have any. Okay.
I will. So you think it's spooky then or kooky? It's okay.
Based
Whatever.
On the story, I'm gonna go with kooky for now. But yeah.
I will clarify, and again, I'm not gonna go super into it because I do want to do an episode about this down the road. But I would like to tease a little to get people interested. It gets a lot crazier when you realize that Jacques might have been a real person as well, because very important historical figures of the time reported knowing him, being friends with him before this was an urban legend, right?
Gotcha.
And everyone always talked about his stories and this personality that he had. And then the Count Saint Germain, the one who was friends with King Louis XV, also a noted historical figure, was an alchemist, had all these other strange, even at his time, he was talking about stories from the past as well with extreme detail, like he had been there. So when you start reading into it, there's a lot of weird similarities between the Count of Saint Germain and Jacques Saint Germain.
You do have to bring up, it's always, the stories are always interesting because you got to think about, like, even if, like, I mean, like, they're not time travelers.
No.
They didn't know all this crazy shit was they just happened to be in the right place at the right time, which is weird. But,
and then,
I mean, it was like the 1600s, and he's like, it's really popping off in Block-Laval today. Yeah. I couldn't think of a thing that happened in the 1600s.
But no, it's very interesting. I don't know. Maybe, I think that the argument could be made that perhaps Count Saint Germain and Jacques, maybe they weren't vampires. I know that the last bit is, that's why I said according to legend, because the last bit, especially about the bottles, I believe that's all legend. The thing about the woman, I believe, is also all legend. But the stuff about him living in New Orleans, throwing parties, being known for his personality, for his stories, all that can be backed up a bit by accounts of other people. But these two guys are hard as fuck to actually pin in history. We know they existed because of other people recording, because of other people's records of them. Mm-hmm. But we don't have like actual birth certificates for them or whatever. But when you have King Louis XV being like, yeah, Count Saint Germain, my buddy, and then his counselors being like, oh yeah, the king's friend Count Saint Germain. It's like, okay, so this was a guy. You know what I mean?
Everyone's always talking about Count Saint Germain, you know?
Yeah. And then there was also another guy that's really interesting that I do just want to mention. And again, we're going to do a full episode on this at some point. There was a guy named Richard Chanfray. He was a French, sea-level actor. He spent some time in jail and read a book on Count Saint Germain and then was like, hey, that's me. I'm him. I'm the Count. And he was like Jacques, where he would be like, listen up, but he gets away with it because I'm like, it's the 1960s, so you read history books. I don't think Richard Chanfray was really anything in this case.
If it's hard to back up Germain
but
now,
here's why
wouldn't it be even harder to find out about him in the 60s?
No, because yes, yeah, I get what you're saying, but yeah, I don't know. But I know that Richard Chanfray is not Jacques or the Count because he died inhaling car fumes in like the 70s or 80s.
Well, they didn't have cars up until then, so like.
But
maybe
I think he's a vampire.
Weakness.
Anyway, I think it's a fun one though. We'll have to come back for it at some point. I love it. Just 20 years after the Axeman of New Orleans had terrified and slaughtered his way through the city before claiming to have been not a man but an incorporeal demon, it seems that hell sent another minion to terrorize the state of Louisiana, this time just across the water from New Orleans. This is the legend of the Devil Man of Algiers. It began in September of 1938. A husband and wife were driving home from a night out on the town when in their path stood an unidentified man who asked them for a ride. But the wife made it known to her husband that she, quote, did not like his looks, and thus the stranger's request for a ride was denied.
Sorry, pal, my wife thinks you look stinky. Good luck.
Hey, come on, huh?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Just give me a ride, hey.
Now that you start talking, and you honestly, listen, I know it's
please,
1930.
Sir, could you possibly give me a lift?
Let me check. Oh, nah, she still says you're stinky.
Fucking hell.
I know. Sorry. I liked the Watto voice. I know you don't know what Watto is yet. It's a thing. You're going to love it.
But it seems this stranger would not take no for an answer. As the couple drove about 10 miles down the road, they encountered the stranger again. Once again, they denied him, but now, becoming nervous, the couple threw their liquor out the car. Holy shit. This crap is strong.
He's just like, honey, I think we should get rid of the gin, and just pops it over his shoulder. And it's like, wait, what the fuck?
You were drinking and driving, you son of a bitch?
Just like slamming straight vodka and just being like, honestly, I'm getting a little worried. Just tossing it out the fucking window. Hold this, Stinky. There we go. Let's go.
Once again, they continued to drive home, and then once again the man appeared before them. But this time, he didn't ask for a ride, but rather revealed his true nature to them.
I don't understand. Are they stopping for him every time?
He's like popping right in front of the car, basically. Okay. Yeah. Leaving nothing to the imagination as he morphed into a demonic figure right before their eyes.
Did you see my dick?
It's a devil cock.
I left nothing to the imagination, huh? Oh, look what I'm doing with my hips.
My cock's got horns on it. Look at that. Little devil cock. The wife fainted, and the husband quickly drove away. Oh, devil cock, she says.
No.
The husband's like, son of a bitch. Okay.
Yeah. Right?
Nice cock.
Yeah. I'm doing the hip thing again, huh?
He's just like, yeah. He's doing a little helicopter with his dick.
Yeah.
Hey,
he's just gyrating
it. The husband's like, honey, get a load of this guy. Look at this.
Honestly.
Oh, she fainted. Oh, I should probably get home. All right, devil man, you have a good night. The husband drove away, trying to make it home before they were dragged to hell. It seems the devilish figure made one final appearance to terrorize the couple. This time, he rode a brown horse next to them. The car managed... Hey, look at my horse's devil cock. Come on. And the horse is like... He's also doing a helicopter with his dick.
You ever seen a devil on a horse before?
Huh, by golly, I never have.
Yeah.
The car managed to outflank the Dark Rider, leaving the satanic encounter in the rearview mirror. The Devil Man was described as having long, black horns, eyes like those of a chicken, and bright pink ears resembling either sunflowers or stars. By eyes of a chicken, do they mean they just fucking hung at the sides like all droopy and fucking lost?
I don't know, but
I'm looking up a chicken right now to look at their eyes.
Look how crazy I look, huh? Huh? I got chicken eyes and I got flower ears. Huh? Look at my ears. They're shaped like fucking sunflowers. Isn't that fucking nuts? That's fucking crazy. Look how fucking crazy I look right now. Huh?
I think I get what they mean. Like, it's like that like yellow or orangey thing around it.
Oh yeah, but they don't have any white.
Pure black. Yeah, I think that's what they mean.
Probably.
You could describe that differently. You could just say orange eyes.
Yeah, but look at my ears though. I feel like you're getting caught up on the
ears. Star or sunflower shaped ears.
Yeah, that's weird.
Weird as fuck, right?
Do you think that means they're flat on his head like a star, or do you think they're like chunked out?
I thought that they were the way I interpreted it was like flat against his head, but they're like star shaped.
Gotcha.
Because
I was thinking maybe
like
it's
our
like a
ears,
normal
but...
front side, but they're just like it's like our ears that stick out, but then there's just like it's like slotted all the way down. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, yeah.
Welcome to Talking Ears with Jose and Mason.
You almost forgot your name there, huh?
I almost forgot my own name for a second.
He could vanish at will or morph into a baboon. Neat party trick. He would fly around the city, insulting wandering women and wrecking unprepared homes and bars. This.
Or
your house isn't clean.
Fuck you. Call me stinky. You're stinky.
This demonic figure would go on to name himself the Devil Man.
Not very creative.
Who are you? Me.
The Devil Man.
I'm the Devil Man. The couple would tell their neighbors, who would promptly go to the police with this report. It seems that the police took this rather seriously and soon began an extensive search for this strange character.
What fucking Andy Griffith fucking sheriff was running this goddamn town that was like, oh geez, sheriff, they're saying there's a devil man out there. I don't know. He's got
Devil Man, you say?
Yeah.
Let's get this son of a bitch.
Oh,
Let's ride,
man,
boys.
Sheriff, I don't know about this one.
They would find him several times, but each time they were outplayed by his strange supernatural abilities. It was just his dick. He was whipping his dick. Come on, huh?
Shoot me.
They're shooting, and the bullets are... He's just whipping it so fast
like
that the bullets are like...
creating
ding,
a
ding, ding,
gravity,
ding. Yeah.
yes.
When they fired their guns at him, the bullets would be returned by hairy hands. Now, this stumped me. I want your opinion on this. Do you think that means that he himself would pick them up and hand them back to them with hairy hands, or were they like the Addams family, where it was disembodied hairy hands that would be like... and then come and drop it? Because I don't think he would get close to them. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, first off, I mean, you got to think, too, like, the bullets just, like, stopped in midair and then, like, fell on the ground?
Well, I think that's why I think that they might... Yeah. Well, yeah, that's...
Well, because I was thinking, what if he just, like, his arms just, like, he picked them up himself, but he, like, had stretchy arms?
Mr. Fantastic arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know. That's a weird one. I have no idea.
The reports became too much for the police force, whose sergeant announced that anyone caught making claims about seeing the Devil Man would be arrested.
Okay, so he just went from, like, we're gonna catch this Devil Man to being like,
fuck you.
Stop talking about the Devil Man.
Yeah.
I can catch him.
Yeah.
Just no more talking. No, the new rule in town is we don't talk about the Devil Man. And we don't talk about how the sheriff couldn't catch the Devil Man, because I can catch the Devil Man. The Devil Man is attracted to you talking about the Devil Man, so no more talking about the Devil Man, and then he'll just go away.
He closes the door and he's like, oh, fuck. Goddamn Devil Man's killing me. I can't do it.
I don't know how to catch this guy. He's a devil. I don't even
He puts
know
a gun against his head,
nobody.
and he pulls a trigger, but then he doesn't die, and then he feels like a tapping, and a hairy hand gives the bullet to him.
Oh,
Ah!
no.
Devil Man!
It's just a cock is pressed up against the window as it's like, it's like swings away.
So the final incident of the brief panic was perhaps the most baffling and disturbing given its implications. What was referred to as a devil baby with horns and all was born in one of the segregated African American sections of New Orleans. Panicked whispers spread across the city that concluded that the devil man really had gotten to them now. But maybe not, as all satanic activity in Algiers stopped abruptly as soon as it had begun.
I don't know. That second one sounds like white people making up just racist
Oh,
bullshit.
yeah, for
you know
sure,
what I mean?
right? Yeah. Anyway, what do you think, Mason? Spooky or kooky?
It's actually kind of spooky. I don't know. It's fun. I like the idea.
Well, some of the other stories I read was like, people would be at the bar, and he would just walk in and sit down for a drink or whatever. Devil man, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Star ears, big ass horns, chicken eyes. You can't tell if he's looking at you or where he's looking. And he would just sit, and if he didn't like it, he would be like, "Fuck this place," and like fireball or something. You know what I mean? And they would like start taunting people. Yeah. So I think like imagine you're at the bar, you're like pretty drunk.
I'd buy him a drink immediately.
Yeah. But then he doesn't like your drink, and he's like, "Fireball," you know?
Do you think he likes Fireball though?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's got a little devil on it, doesn't it? Doesn't Fireball have a
he's
little
gonna
devil
love
on it? Yeah.
He's gonna be like,
Hey, that's
this
me
is funny.
actually. But I don't know if you know that. Actually, that's my cousin. Yeah.
Honestly,
no.
I would, if I could get him to fly me around the town, like he'd like hold me underneath my arms and like fly me around. Game over.
I can show you the world. Yeah, that's pretty good. An Aladdin movie, but it's you and the Devil Man.
In the skies, you and I, flying over New Orleans.
Sorry, as I
Devil
was saying.
man, big ass dick.
He's flying you with his dick. So he's like holding you backwards because his dick is the propeller. So he's like...
Trashing bars, getting drunk, asking for rides. We need to write the Devil Man musical, I think, immediately.
Yes.
I think this is a golden opportunity for us.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's spooky too.
Suck my dick. The sheriff sucks. Can't even kill himself properly. And I'm just like, oh, Devil Man, you're so charming.
Yeah, so spooky then, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Also adorable.
yes, yeah. It is worth mentioning that an arrest was made in the Devilman case of one Clark Carlton, an interesting character in his own right. Carlton claimed to have been sent to this latitude by a great spiritual monarch known as King Zulu, who was a great benefactor and advisor to Neptune, who comes to only those who speak his language. He claimed he wasn't the devil, but actually a greater force than the biblical antagonist. George Horrell, who had given Carlton a room in his inn when he first arrived in the city, came to Carlton's defense and theorized that all that had happened was an incident was blown out of proportion and an urban legend sprung from it. So there was one night where Carlton was outside and he was being berated by these children, and he told them, "Get away from here, I'll set the devil on you," or something like that. And then the children started going, "Devil man, devil man." And so it drew a crowd. And they were all like, "Devil man, devil man." And then he ran away. And so according to George Horrell, he's like, I think that's what started it all. But we could do a further in-depth look at Carlton. But I'm not all convinced that the strange devil man and him were one and the same. I think they're two different instances.
I love the Devil Man, though.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
Clark Carlton, fucking interesting guy, because his story basically ended with he got sent to jail, and then one day the mayor saw him on a chain gang and was like, "Hey, you want to admit you're the Devil Man?" And he was like, "Will it get me out of this?" And he was like, "Say you're the Devil Man. I'll give you $100. I'll buy you a suit, and you get out of town." And then he was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And he did.
Look, I'm doing the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I love the Devil Man, but I'm not entirely sure it's not because of all the lore we made up about the Devil Man.
Yeah, well, yeah.
During the story,
Right,
but
yeah.
he may be my new favorite cryptid.
Yeah. He's an interesting one, yeah.
I just like him because he seems super fun.
Yeah. He's just Well, maybe
never
he's
hurt
maybe
anybody.
he's sexist though, because he's going around just calling women whores and stuff.
That's a little weird. That
Yeah.
he's like, you're a fucking slut.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm just walking home from work.
You
Fuck you.
you Minnie Mouse.
Oh boy. Oh, gentlemen, please.
Yeah, that's not great, I guess. But I mean, honestly, sounds
He's
like
a
good
man of his
advice.
time, you know?
Honestly, sounds like he's better than most men of his time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with that, Mason, it's time to wrap the show up. If you like the show, make sure to leave a 5-star review, which you can do in-app on Apple Podcast, or you can go over to Audible or Podchaser to do that. We'd really appreciate it if you'd leave us a review. Plus, it really helps the show, and we'll read your review on the show. You can support the show by going to patreon.com/captainslogcast and donate $1. Anything helps keep the lights on. Another thing you can do to help the show and yourself is go over to Teepublic and shop our merch. Yeah, that's right, we got merch. You can get anything from
Yeah.
t-shirts to mugs with our logo on it. Remember, if you donate/support our sponsors, it all goes towards improving the show, getting better recording equipment, etc. Mason, where can the fine listeners find you?
You can actually find me on Redbubble at Tiny Messiah, TinyMessiah. I have some of my artwork up for sale. Not a lot yet. I'm still in the early stages, but I've got some stuff up, and you can go on there and buy some stuff. Mostly I make them for prints, but you want a shirt, get a shirt. You want whatever, get whatever. It would be cool. It's
Yeah.
great. It's kind of fun. That's Tiny Messiah on Redbubble.
I will link it in the show notes as well.
Thank you.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at j.valle_junior, and the show on Twitter and Instagram at Captain's Log Pod. We recommend various...
You can also find me flying over New Orleans screaming at people in a devil voice. I can't stop doing that.
No, you can't. We recommend various different materials on our socials and post show updates and some occasionally funny things, so go check it out. You can also subscribe on YouTube, where you can find me as Jose Valle Jr., Animal Productions, and of course the show's official YouTube channel, Captain's Log. We are so close to having it updated. I'm so close.
Yay.
If you can't get enough of me, you can also listen to my other podcast with friend of the log, Max Benyon, called Max and Jose Have Something to Say. We had a very Captain's Log-esque episode recently where we talked about mythical cities. That was a load of fun. Mason's been on an episode.
Yeah. If you want more of me, you can. My new series, Cornfed Iowa, reviewing restaurants in Iowa, will be coming out here shortly, and you can listen to that and enjoy that.
Yes. Make sure to tell your friends and family about the show if you enjoy it, and if you'd like to share your favorite urban legends that didn't make the cut, or perhaps if you had encounters with any of the legends we discussed, please do so by writing in to captainslogcast@gmail.com. You can also suggest episode topics, guests you'd like to have back, etc. Make sure to subscribe and download on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play, and any other podcast directory. Thanks to Carlos Rivera for composing the show's theme. And with that, everybody...
Thank you, Carlos.
Mwah. That's for Carlos. With that, everybody, we have reached the end of our show. We'll see you soon for another special episode. I've been your captain, Jose Valle Jr., joined by...
First Officer and Official Devil Man, Mason Schrader.
And this has been Captain's Log. End of transmission.
You.